Okay, let's get started. So, today our topic of discussion is what are the issues in designing a distributed operating system. Means what type of difficulty we may face when we want to organize or when we want to make a distributed operating system. See, See, what are the difficulties we may face when we want to design a distributed operating system? The first disadvantage or difficulties in distributed operating system is there is no concept of global clock or common clock. Means when one computer or one site want to send any packet or any messages from its own site to another site, if at the mid path the packet may be destroyed or may be loose, then there is no someone is waiting. Then there is no provision to retransmit the packet or resend the packet because there is no concept of global clock or common clock in the system. That is why the sender can't know whether this packet or this message is received by receiver or not, and receiver also don't know whether sender sends any types of message or packets to itself. So that is the main disadvantage or main difficulties in distributed operating system. There is no concept of global or common clock in that system. That is why sender and receiver don't know whether the packet received by receiver or not, or the packet is sent by senders or not. So there is no concept of retransmission in that type of system. So that is the first disadvantage or difficulties when we want to design a distributed operating system. See, there are various types of issues. So first type of issues designing a distributed operating system is transparency. What is the meaning of that? It means always distributed operating system should provide a illusion to the customer or to the operator that they are working with a single system, not they are working with n number of systems or multiple number of systems. What is the meaning of that? The concept of distributed operating system says there are various types of computer or node or site are connected via a network, and they can share their resources or messages within each other, though they are located in different area network. So that is the main concept of distributed operating system. So the transparency means the distributed operating system should provide one type of illusion to the customer or to the operator that the customer always working with a single system, not with the different system or n number of sites. So distributed operating system should provide a single system images to the user. That is the meaning of transparency. So this transparency categorized into various types of category. So first category is access transparency. Access transparency means sometimes what happens, user are working with a resources which is located in remote area network, or they are using another resources which is located in local area network. So the access transparency says the distributed operating system should allow the user that the user always uses, someone is waiting, no, okay, so the access transparency says distributed operating system should provide one type of illusion to the user or to the customer that they are working with a resources which is may be located in remote area network, or it may be located in local area network, but it always provides to the user that they are working with those resources which is located in local area network. So meaning of that is user don't know that whether the resources which is used by user is located in remote area network or in local area network. So always distributed operating system provides one type of illusion to its customer that they are using resources which is located in that system. So that is the meaning of access transparency. Now second type of transparency is called the location transparency. So location transparency is two types. First one is called the name transparency and another is called the user mobility. So first, the concept of name transparency. What is the meaning of that? Name transparency says the name of resources which is using by user, name of resources should not reveal any hint to the physical location of the resources. Again I am repeating, the concept of name transparency is the name of resources should not reveal any hint to the physical location of the resources. What is the meaning of that? Say there are three computers which is located in three different area network. First computer say located in Kolkata area network, second computer located in Durgapur area network, and the third computer say it is located in Hyderabad area network. Now I am using or customer is using one resources. Sorry,
बोल रहे कि सर कुछ लोग वेटिंग पे है.
okay. So the concept of name transparency is the name of resources should not reveal any hint to the physical location of the resources. As an example, there are three computers or three sites which is located in three different area network. First computer say located in Kolkata area network, second computer say located in Durgapur area network, and the third computer say it is located in Hyderabad area network. Now user using a resources which is say located in Kolkata area network, and the resource name may be kol.txt. So what is the meaning of that? The name of resources reveals the physical location of these resources. Means kol.txt means these resources is located in Kolkata area network. Say user using another type of resources and the resource name is HYD. HYD means Hyderabad. HYD.txt. So the name of these resources reveals the physical location of these resources. So if my system is hacked by an unauthorized person, then this unauthorized person can clearly say that these types of resources is located in that type of area network. And it is our main challenge to hide the name of these resources which the user is using now. That is called the name transparency. Means the name of these resources should not reveal any hint to the physical location of these resources. Say if our resource name, say it is a.txt or b.txt, then the name of these resources does not reveal any hint the physical location of that type of resource. And when these types of resources move from one computer to another, one network to another, the name of the resources must be same. So that is the main concept of name transparency. And the second type of challenges is user mobility. What is the meaning of that? Say there are three computer or three sites in distributed operating system, and the name of the user is say ABC, whatever it is, abc.txt or xyz.txt. That is the name of the user, and password say 1234. So when one user logged into the system with its specified ID and password, then they can access all others computer which is included in distributed operating system. Means say there are three computers or three sites which is included in our distributed operating system. If user logged with its specified ID and password, they or it can access any computer or any resources which is included in these types of distributed operating system. If user logged in Kolkata area network, then they can access the resources which is located in Hyderabad area network, or they can access the resources which is located in Durgapur area network. So that is called the user mobility. So the meaning of user mobility says it provides one type of illusion to the user that they are working with a single system, not with a different type of system. But we know that the concept of distributed operating system is it is collection of n number of computer or n number of system. But user always know that he or she is working with a single system, not with a n number of systems. So that is called the user mobility. Now the third type of transparency is called the replication transparency. The meaning of that, every critical hardware or software or resources must have replication capability. Why we need these types of replication capability? Say if some faulty condition will appear into our system, then distributed operating system should overcome these types of faulty situation by these types of characteristics, that is called the replication characteristics. They can replicate its critical hardware or software and can avoid these types of faulty situation. So that is called the replication capability. The meaning of that, every critical hardware and software which is belongs in distributed operating system must have replication capability to avoid faulty scenario. Next type of transparency is called the failure transparency. The meaning of failure transparency is distributed operating system should create one type of masking effect from the user to avoid partial failure of the system. Means sometimes what happens, some faulty situation may appear into our system. Faulty situation means some types of resources is not present, say link failure, machine failure. So this type of failure is called the faulty situation. So if these types of situation will appear into the system, then our system provides one type of masking effect to the user. Masking effect means they can hide the faulty situation to the user and the main function should not be hampered. So that is called the failure transparency. Means it provides one type of masking effect to the user when some faulty situation will appear into our system and the main function of the system should not disturb. Next type of transparency is called the concurrency transparency. So the concept behind concurrency transparency means how can you avoid a deadlock situation into the system. So we know the deadlock situation is nothing but when 2 or n number of process or 2 or n number of computer are competing with each other for accessing a single request or a single resources, but at that time this resources is not granted. Then the process will goes to deadlock situation. So our main aim or our main challenges while we design a distributed operating system is how can we handle these types of deadlock situation. So that is called the concurrency transparency. So you know that there are 3 possibilities or 3 solutions which is available in distributed operating system. The first solution is event ordering, means we provide a timestamp value to each and every processes, those processes who are competing with each other for accessing a single resources. That is the first solution. And the second solution is mutual exclusion policy, means one after completing or after executing a resources, this process someone is waiting. No. Yes. So the second type of solution is called the mutual exclusion. The meaning of that is if n number of processes are competing with each other for accessing a single request, then only one process can enter the critical section. After executing the critical section, then another process will enter into that critical section. So the critical section or critical resources will be accessed by mutually exclusive manner. So that is the second type of solution. And the third solution is handle the node starvation property. Means when two or n number of process are waiting for accessing a single request, and if this critical resources is granted, then only one process can access it, and other competitor or other process must wait for specific duration or specific times. So the problem is, if our execution time or burst time is very lengthy, then those processes who are waiting for accessing this request may goes to a deadlock situation, because they are waiting for infinite number of time for accessing these types of resources which is held by another process. So that is called the starvation. Means other competitor will wait infinite number of time. So we have to handle these types of starvation policy when we want to avoid this deadlock situation. So that is called the concurrency transparency. Now, second type of challenges while we want to design a distributed operating system is called the fault avoidance. So it is our second type of challenges. So fault avoidance says, if some faulty situation will appear, then how can you manage it? Say, see the definition. Fault avoidance deals with designing the component of the system in such a way that occurrence of faults is minimized. So our main aim is to minimize the faulty situation. So how can we minimize the faulty situation into our distributed operating system? So that is our big challenges. And the last challenges or issues while we design a distributed operating system is fault tolerance capability. Means if some faulty situation will appear, then how can we overcome this situation and continue our normal functioning of the system. If this faulty situation will appear into our system, how can we handle this faulty situation and continue our normal functioning of the system? So that is the concept of fault tolerance. Okay, so these are the various types of issues we have discussed in our today's class. So the first issues was the first issues was the transparency, and this transparency will be categorized into various types of categories, and the third issues is fault avoidance, and the last one is the fault tolerance. So these are the various types of issues or difficulties while we want to design a distributed operating system. So that is the end of our today's class.